What if I told you that just eating food could help you burn more calories? It's true. But before you start loading up your plate, let's talk about the thermic effect of food, or TEF, how much it really impacts your metabolism, and which foods maximize the burn. From Wits and Weights, I'm Philip Pape, and this is Nutrition Science Daily, bringing you the latest in nutrition, fat loss, and health science, all in under 5 minutes. So far in Metabolism Week, we've covered basal metabolic rate, BMR. If you missed it, check out yesterday's episode. That's the calories your body burns just to stay alive. But today we're talking about a much smaller but controllable part of your metabolism called the thermic effect of food. TEF is the energy your body uses to digest, absorb, and process food. And it's not like it's going to make or break your fat loss, but if you understand it, it can help you make some smarter food choices to nudge your metabolism, improve your body composition, and help with satiety, or the feeling of fullness, which actually is a very important aspect, especially if you are in a fat loss phase. So every time you eat, your body has to break down food. It has to extract those nutrients and then store them for energy or muscle repair. This process itself requires energy, which is kind of cool, and that's what TEF is. It's the calorie cost of digestion. TEF accounts for about 10% of your total daily energy expenditure. It sounds small, but it's actually pretty amazing that you need 10% of your calories just to process your food. And so it's not nearly as big as BMR up in the 60-70% range, or NEAT up in the 20-30% range. It still plays an important role, especially with your meal composition. But remember, not all foods burn the same amount of energy. The TEF of different macros is as follows. Protein burns 20 to 30% of the calories in the food, carbs 5 to 10%, and fats 0 to 3%. So if you eat 100 calories of protein, your body spends up to 30 calories digesting it. But if you eat 100 calories of fat, your body only burns like 3 calories to burn that in the process, or to process that. So a massive difference. And this is why I've had clients who all they will do is significantly increase their protein as a percentage of their diet, and all of a sudden their expenditure goes up. They start to lose some fat without even trying at the same it's the same calorie level, but it's because they're actually burning more of those calories, right? So the deficit isn't the same. The deficit actually increases because the expenditure side of the equation increased. So you can't hack this into some massive hundreds of calories a day, but you can be strategic and optimize the what you can to help you. The big one is to eat more protein, right? Protein has the highest TEF. We mentioned that several times. And you do that by prioritizing lean meats, fish, eggs, dairy. I love cottage cheese, Greek yogurt, for example. Of course, plant-based proteins. If you don't eat meat, of course, you're going to have to modify these. But just getting lots of protein from any source and getting around 0.7 to 1 gram per pound of your body weight a day is a really solid range. Protein preserves muscle also, which then contributes to what we talked about yesterday, which is your BMR, and it's fantastic for your long-term metabolic health regardless. Number 2, limiting ultra-processed foods, and I say limit and not avoid because I firmly believe we all need some indulgences. We live with the modern food supply that is just inundated with ultra-processed foods. It's almost impossible to avoid it, and so living within that reality, giving yourself some permission and allowance, say 10%, maybe even 20% of your calories for those foods is perfectly fine if you are counting for calories and macros and your micronutrients. So limiting ultra-processed foods, because guess what? Those foods are effectively pre-digested. They're already broken down significantly, so they take less energy to digest. And that's just going to burn fewer calories. It's not going to make you full. There's a lot of negatives from a body composition perspective, regardless of the fear-mongering about what's in processed foods. Whereas whole foods like chicken breast, oats, fibrous veggies, they make your body work harder. You have to chew them, then their saliva has to work on them, then you have to digest them and separate them. The third thing you can do here is eating more whole carbs and fiber. I love fiber-rich carbs. Veggies, beans, whole grains, nuts, seeds, anything with fiber fruits are fantastic. They have a slightly higher thermic effect of food than a refined carb. I have nothing against refined carbs. They can definitely be part of your diet. And if you're building muscle and eating a lot of calories, if you're up in the 300, 400, 500 grams of carbs a day, you're probably going to need some refined carbs, right? But carbs full with fiber are going to take longer to digest. They're going to have, some of it's not even going to get absorbed, and that's why fiber has fewer calories per gram as well. So keep that in mind. And then I'll say that meal timing and frequency really don't matter much here. I wanted to throw that in. Some people claim that eating smaller, frequent meals boosts your metabolism. But no, it doesn't work that way, because you're either going to digest it now in a giant meal all at once, or you're going to digest it over time in multiple small. It's the same. What matters is total food intake, your macro composition, your micros, all of those things. So make sure to eat with a schedule and frequency that actually supports you and your training and your schedule. So does it help burn fat, right? TEF by itself is not going to cause a huge amount of fat loss, but it does offer some small, consistent metabolic advantages when your diet is constantly full of high TEF foods, right? It just nudges your calorie burn a little bit. It helps with satiety and hunger control, aids with muscle retention. It's all the right foods also have a higher TEF, high protein, whole foods, fiber, foundation of any effective fat loss or muscle building diet, period. TEF, it's the energy cost of digestion. It's 10% of your calorie burn. Remember that protein burns the most, so prioritize it. Whole foods burn more calories than processed foods, and meal timing doesn't matter. So it's not going to magically boost your metabolism, but it can nudge it up, and it can give you an edge in all these other things: body composition, satiety, fat loss. All right, if you're enjoying Metabolism Week, follow the show. Follow Nutrition Science Daily right now in your podcast app. And by the way, now that we're getting to the middle of the week, if you've never rated or reviewed the show, that is going to go a long way to helping us grow. We are still a very new show. We don't have a lot of reviews yet. It's hard to come by, and it would be so grateful if you took a minute just to give a 5-star rating, and then if you had an extra minute to write a review in Apple Podcasts, that would be amazing. And I would love to feature reviews on the show in the near future and give you a shout out. All right, tomorrow we're talking about EAT, exercise activity thermogenesis, how much your structured exercise really contributes to metabolism. Can more working out, can more moving in that way actually help you burn more fat? I'll see you tomorrow.